I'll just read the guidelines in lieu of our sergeant at arms for tonight. So let me share the screen for the house rules. All right, I hope everyone's in. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and very welcome guests. My name is Grace Banal, and I'd like first, before we start, I'd like to read first the house rules. First is good job to those who joined the meeting 10 minutes early. So well done on all of you. Well done to all of you. And I'd like to remind everyone to dress appropriately, which means no sleeveless for men and no spaghetti straps or revealing tops for women. And please set your name to this format, name and your role. For example, Chato, dash, the counter. Or if you are a guest, you can write your name, type your name, and then add to that guest. All right. Next is mute your microphone when you're not speaking so as not to disturb the one who is actually speaking so that we can listen or we can hear them loud and clear. We encourage everyone to turn the camera on so that we can see your beautiful faces. But in case someone is having difficulties with the internet, poor internet connection, we might want to turn off our video to reduce the bandwidth. And this meeting room, as soon as it starts, will be an English-speaking zone. Let's avoid speaking using other languages. And lastly, you may use the chat box. We encourage everyone to use the chat box for any questions or comments, right? So now, what's the next point? All right. Now that we have the house rules, I'd like first to make sure that the program is in order. So we have a few changes in our program for tonight. Our Toastmaster of the evening, Toastmaster Glo, cannot make it, which is why I'd like to ask Toastmaster John. Hello.
Yes, hi.
Toastmaster John, can you be our impromptu Toastmaster of the evening tonight?
I can be, but I'm using my cell phone right now because my son is using the desktop. So I can use the desktop if I'm going to be the speaker only.
Okay.
So it's hard for me to hold the cell phone.
Okay. So
next time.
Okay, no problem, Toastmaster John. Miss Baby, can you be, or can I? It's either you or me. Miss Baby, can you be our Toastmaster of the evening? Since Troy is not here yet, so we can't be sure if he can be the Toastmaster, the table topics evaluator.
He's on mute.
Miss Baby, you're on mute. We can't hear you.
Okay, sige. I'm just looking for the program.
Okay. Yay. So now, changes to the program. So Toastmaster Baby will be our Toastmaster of the evening, our impromptu Toastmaster of the evening. And as is, I will be your table topics evaluator later. All right. Now, start by, as the president of Supreme Toastmasters Club and by the power vested in me by Toastmasters International, this meeting, I now call this meeting to order. And as we start, I'd like to call Toastmaster John to lead us for the opening prayer. Toastmaster John.
Yes, let us put ourselves in the presence of our Lord. Dear God, thank you very much for this wonderful evening. Thank you that we got home very early and safe. Bless this meeting that we may have a lot of learnings and a lot of camaraderie. Bless these people in this meeting, joining Toastmasters, and learning a lot from this meeting. This we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Father, Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Back to
And
you.
I would now like to call Toastmaster Chato for the Pledge of Allegiance. So let me share with you the screen. Toastmaster Chato, kindly lead the...
Okay. Okay, you hear me? Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the Philippines
I pledge
and to,
allegiance to the flag of the Philippines
and to the
The
country it
country it
represents,
represents.
and to the country it represents,
with honor, justice, and freedom,
with honor,
honor,
justice, and
justice, and
freedom,
freedom
put in motion by one nation,
put in motion by
by
one
one
nation,
nation,
for God, for the
for
people,
God,
for the people,
for the
for
people,
nature, for nature, and for the country.
and for the
for the
country.
country.
Good evening.
All right. Thank you, Toastmaster Chato. Now, I'd like to call Toastmaster Carmela Taob to lead us with the Toastmaster's Promise. Toastmaster Carmela.
So the Toastmasters promise, as a member of Toastmasters International, I promise to, raise your right hand. I promise to attend club meetings
Club
regularly,
meetings regularly,
prepare
prepare all of my projects to the
my
The best
best
of
ability,
my
of my
ability,
ability,
placing them on the
placing them on the
Toastmasters
Toastmasters
education
education
program.
program.
Prepare and
prepare
For
for
and fulfill
fill
meeting
meeting
assignments.
assignments,
provide
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 fellow
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 club
club
members
members
and our
and our
guests
guests
respect
respect
and
respect
and
and
courtesy.
courtesy.
courtesy. Bring
Bring
guests
guests
to
Guests to club
club
meetings
meetings
so
so
they
they
can
can see
see
the
the
benefits
benefits
Toastmasters
Toastmasters
membership
membership
offers.
offers.
Adhere
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 to the
to the
guidelines
guidelines
and
and rules
rules
for all
for all
Toastmasters
Toastmasters educational
educational and
and
recognition
recognition
programs.
programs.
help the
Help
Help
club
the
the
club
club
maintain the
maintain the
positive,
positive, friendly
friendly
environment
environment
necessary
necessary
necessary for all
for all
members
members to
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 learn
learn.
and
learn
grow,
and grow.
to
Serve my
serve
club
Serve my
our
club
club
as an
as an
officer
officer
officer when called
when
upon to
called
do
upon to
so.
do so.
act
Act
Toastmasters
within
core
Toastmasters'
values
core
Core
of
values
values of
integrity,
of
integrity,
respect,
integrity,
respect,
respect,
and
service,
service, and
and
excellence
excellence
during the
excellence
during the
conduct
during the
conduct
conduct
of
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 all
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 Toastmasters
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 activities.
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 All right. Thank you, Toastmaster Carmela. Now, before we proceed with our Toastmaster of the evening, first of all, I'd like to acknowledge the members who are present tonight, and most importantly, our most welcome guests. So I'd like to welcome MJ. Hello, MJ.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. Can you share us a little bit something about yourself, MJ?
Yes, my name is Maynard Jasper Dolot. I may what's this? I forgot the term for pamangkin of chato.
Nephew,
Yes, my tita. My auntie is I'm the nephew of Toastmaster Chato. I'm a teacher in uh, Pateros Catholic School, and I'm interested in joining this club because I want to further my abilities in speaking in front of many people. So,
Wow.
welcome MJ.
Welcome,
thank you.
MJ. Good evening, and I
Good
hope
evening.
you learn something and enjoy your visit or your stay here at Supreme Toastmasters. And looking forward to having you again in our future meetings.
Thank you very
And
much.
next up is I'd like to welcome Miss Barbara Anne Valdez, another guest tonight. Good evening, Miss Barbara.
Barbara. Let's see.
All right. And next up, I'd like also to welcome Miss Katrina. Hello, Miss Katrina, another guest.
Good evening, Miss Grace.
Good evening.
Good evening.
And we already learned a few things about Katrina. She's from UST. Hello, good evening, Katrina. And Miss Graciela and Raymark from all the way from Visayas region as well. So welcome, Raymark and Graciela. And I hope you also learn few things about public speaking, communication, and leadership from our meeting tonight. All right? Do we have other guests? And of course, our general evaluator for tonight, DTM Edith. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, DTM Edith.
Good evening.
Would you like to share us something, a little bit of something about yourself, DTM Edith?
Okay, good evening.
Good evening.
I think I'm not new to Supreme. It's in fact a homecoming for me because I've been attending Supreme very regularly before. I don't know how
Yes.
many years, maybe
Maybe.
a
Maybe
decade.
5,
Wow,
10 years.
decade. Okay, I've been attending Supreme. The members of Supreme, they've attended conventions together. We've attended training, officers training together. I've been with Toastmasters since 1997. So that makes
Wow.
23 years. 23 years. I've joined other clubs. I've been past presidents of other clubs. I've been past Division A governor. And now I am with Tamaral, Toastmasters Club. And I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be back.
Welcome, my dear Edith.
Welcome,
Yes,
DTM
thank
I
you.
miss
Edith.
you.
Yes, I first met or saw DTM Edith when Carmela and I visited for the first time Tamaraw Toastmasters Club, and I was very glad. I was so impressed the way she evaluated the table topic speeches, which makes me a little bit pressured since I will be the table topics evaluator for tonight. So we'll see how I will be able to to live up to the standards of Toastmaster Edith. All right. Now, without further ado, we'd like to move on with our program for tonight. So to lead us, to be our MC, our Masters of Ceremonies for tonight, I'd like to call the Charter President of Supreme Toastmasters Club. And she founded the Supreme Toastmasters Club in 2001. Yes, in 2001. And she is an image consultant and also an active member of Toastmasters International and Soroptimist Ortigas. So help me welcome Toastmaster Baby Doble.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome to our many guests. MJ, Remark, Graciela, Barbara, Katrina, welcome. Toastmaster is a nonprofit educational organization that teaches public speaking and leadership skills through a worldwide network of clubs. In Toastmasters, education is our business, and our objective is to make effective oral communication a worldwide reality. So it was in 1924 when Toastmasters International has helped people from diverse backgrounds become more confident speakers, communicators, and leaders. It was Dr. Ralph Smedley who started Toastmasters in October 22, 1924. And Dr. Ralph Smedley's mission really was to make effective oral communication a worldwide reality. In the Philippines, it was organized in 1939 by Ambassador Mauro Baradi, but short-lived because of World War II. In December 1952, philanthropist Teodoro Calao, husband of former Senator Eva Estrada Calao, organized the Toastmasters Club, the first club in Asia. The Philippines belong to District 75, and to date, there are already many clubs in the Philippines. So Supreme Toastmasters Club was chartered in April 3, 2001, and please unmute this. Please mute, rather. So membership in Toastmasters is encouraged because it has affected many lives, and through speech training, we discovered that we possess certain skills we thought we never had. So it and our career path, and it becomes a new flavor also to our family and to social. Speeches during Toastmasters Club meetings, we learn to control our nervousness while building self-confidence in the process. So I'd like to welcome you all to Supreme Toastmasters Club. Can we mute Miss Dolores Margaha? May I request the host to mute Dolores Margaha? So let's begin our program with the light moments. So I'd like to call Ariel Pasqua to do the word of the day.
That's not me.
Yes. Hi, Ariel.
I didn't watch.
Mute that dog.
Okay. For our word of the day, we have Zush. Can you say it with me?
Josh. Josh.
Zush. So Zush is to make something more lively and interesting, stylish or appealing as by small change or addition. It's usually followed by up. And in general, Zush tends to mean to improve in appearance by way of a slight adjustment. So, example, these colorful throw pillows are an easy way to zush up your
living room.
Okay?
Josh. Josh. Josh.
And so,
Yes.
I will someone
Josh. To jazz up.
try it up. How about MJ? Can you use it in a sentence?
Is my pronunciation correct first? Zosh?
Yeah.
Is it Zosh? Is it
Zush,
correct?
yes.
Can we check the pronunciation? Grace, can we check the pronunciation?
Zush.
Shuz.
It's not here in
Grace has an
the.
app.
I can't.
Because you're
I can't use
using your
my
two
phone.
gadgets.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's Zush.
Josh.
I don't have it here in my
Is it
Miriam
like
dictionary.
Joshua Padilla?
Yes.
Juice. Isn't it? Juice.
Na.
Double O. Juice.
Juice.
But it's
Oh yeah,
juice.
Juice.
It's
Double O.
juice.
Double O.
Juice. These colorful
Juice.
throw pillows are an easy way to juice up.
Juice. All right. Juice.
Juice up. Juice up.
So, Nell John, Anne is wearing her beautiful dress today, and with an addition of her scarf, zushing up her chic.
Juice.
Is that correct?
It's ever.
The pronunciation is juice.
Zoosh. Zooshing up. Zoosh up. um, Anne is wearing her dress with an addition of her scarf to zoosh up her chic. 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 Is that correct?
Yes,
Yeah, that is.
I would think so.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Another one. Miss Emeline, can you try our word of the day?
You calling me?
Yes.
People are starting to zhuzh up their living rooms with Christmas decors.
And last one. How about another from our guest, Katrina? Can you try it?
A way to zhuzh up my day is through exercising. Did I use it correctly?
Yeah.
Hey.
Juice.
Okay. Thank you for that. And back to you,
Shoes.
Grace.
Shoes.
Actually, I also use the Merriam dictionary. It says such, so I don't know. I don't know how to
Choose.
what do you call this? To pronounce to use this one. So it's just thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ariel. I hope that we can use this very difficult word to pronounce our proceedings tonight. Moving on, I'd like to call Grace. I'm confused now. Am I doing the educational talk or it's you?
It's you, Miss Baby.
Okay.
I'll share the screen.
Okay. Are we okay?
Okay.
Yes,
So
Miss
I
Baby,
am
go
Baby
ahead.
Doble, Charter President of Supreme Toastmasters Club, and tonight I'm giving a short educational talk. Improve your speaking abilities. Daniel Goleman, the author of Working with Emotional Intelligence, had access on studies conducted in about 500 companies and business leaders around the world. And the studies revealed that the skill that distinguishes star performers is not simply IQ, but rather EQ. While a person's IQ is fixed at an early age, we all can improve our EQ at any stage of our lives. Mr. Goldman says competencies enhance our levels of emotional intelligence, and one area that we can concentrate on is social skills, part of which is communication. So when we think of speaking, especially with an audience, there is always the fear of public speaking. For a lot of people, speaking is the most dreaded fear. Do you experience butterflies attack your stomach when you think of having to address a group? Oftentimes, you're afraid to make mistakes in front of others. We are afraid we are afraid of embarrassment and humiliation. More so if a setback happened before and phobia is created because of a traumatic experience. So here are some strategies to overcome fear. First is be thoroughly prepared. The more ready you feel, the more confident you become. Know your subject matter well. your audience, who are they? You have to know your audience. You also have to check out the room. Of course, this is not applicable now because we are on virtual meeting. You organize and practice until you feel that you know the presentation. So now that we are having virtual meetings, the best thing to do is to be prepared virtually. Make sure that your face is shown very well to be seen by everyone. Another strategy is to visualize the outcome you want. First, believe in yourself. Believe that you are succeeding and you will. Another one is to focus on the message, not on yourself. I remember one of my evaluators, that was what he said, that you are not the hero of your speech, and it's that. But you believe in yourself, but visualize it. But you do not also take too much of impressing people. Fourth, connect with your audience. The audience wants you to succeed and hear your message. Focus on a few friendly faces in the audience. Part of this is eye contact. They say that when you're facing an audience, look at your left, center, and right. So it's just like you're a swiveling fan to have eye contact. Of course, another one is look your best. Dress appropriately for the occasion. If you know you look good, you will feel confident. Then you can refrain your fears, reconcile with the fear, and break fear free yourself from the fear. Number 3, what to look for in a speech. 1, objectives. What did the speaker intend to accomplish? When you speak, you have to either inform, persuade, inspire, motivate, entertain. So were the objectives met? 2, material. Material is basically the preparation. Where do you get ideas? We get our ideas from experiences, from people. It could be make-believe, it could be events, places, and also you can do some research. And then another one is organization. Construct your speech like a symphony. Infuse emotions of joy, laughter, anger, sadness, disgust, fear, surprise, and humor. And then use short, meaningful, descriptive, and photographic words so your audience can picture and see the scenes. It's just like the audience is transported to a particular scene. Your speech has to be short, catchy, and make good sense. The last one is delivery. Speeches done in a conversational manner always catch attention. There is a particular pattern, it's called AIDA. It's attention, tempered internalization, and animation. So it's like you're acting to deliver your speech. So I hope that this short educational talk will develop your EQ, emotional quotient, and of course, let's try to remove fear by being thoroughly prepared, visualize the outcome you want, focus on the message, not on yourself, connect with your audience, and look your best. And then in that way, you will be able to reframe those fears, reconcile with the fear, and break free from the fear. And then what to look for in a speech: objectives, material, organization, and delivery. I hope that in your future speeches, you will be able to use all this material. So good evening to all of you. So the next part of our meeting is we don't have anything goes right, please.
Yes.
So we are now going to the table topics. Table topics is a tradition in Toastmasters, and the table topics master is appointed. Yes. Florence Pua is our table topics master for tonight, and our theme is in table topics, you are given 1 to 2 minutes to expound on a topic without preparation, and it gives us the skill of thinking on your feet is developed, and of course, the fear of speaking in public is also somehow removed. So I'd like to call our table topics master. Let's give a round of applause for Florence Pua.
Thank you, Toastmaster Baby. For tonight, our topic is leap of faith. So we have a lot of attendees tonight. Would anyone want to volunteer himself or herself?
Leap of faith.
I just need 5.
Toastmaster Flaw,
Yes.
would you like to read through a little bit of more description of the explanation about table topics for in the interest of our guests for tonight,
Okay.
first time guests?
So table topics, as mentioned by Toastmaster Baby, is here to help the members think on their feet for 1 to 2 minutes. And so you use the topic that is given for the night.
Miss Flo, can you
Yes?
read the description on screen?
Wait, I'll just...
It's
I'm
the
using
screen.
I'm just using my phone now. Okay, so table topics is a long-standing tradition, Toastmaster tradition. What it aims to do is to help us think on and speak on your feet. It is the most exciting and daunting part of the Toastmaster program, aiming to improve the confidence and impromptu speeches. Express the thoughts clearly in 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, so per speaker, we have allotted 2 minutes of our time. The minimum is 1 minute, and we have a grace period of 30 seconds.
May I volunteer?
So here are the speech patterns that we can use. Prep, point, reason, example, point. Prem, point, reason, example, message. Press, point, reason, example, summary. SMG, story, message, gain. IDA, attention, interest, desire, and action. Before, during, after, past, present, future. And triad, power of trees.
Okay.
So may I call on a volunteer for tonight?
May I?
So, hi, good evening, Toastmaster Chirina. So,
It's Chato. I'm just
Chato.
using my daughter's iPad. Sorry.
sorry. Okay, so I'll be copying on the screen the the quote that I got.
Okay.
So this one is by Martin Luther King.
Uh-huh. An example.
Okay. So here, faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase by Martin Luther King Jr.
Okay. But, okay. It was a leap of faith when I got married early and I had my child very early, that I had to be responsible, knowing and realizing that I am a mother. So I had to study and not just believe in what other people say or even my parents and my in-laws with regard to rearing the children, especially when they were still babies and in their formative years. I studied a book which gave me good information in raising them, feeding, teaching, psychology, everything that would be vital to the growth and development and values that I would be instilling in my children. And I was lucky enough to have raised them both very well. And now they have turned out to be the best that any parent could be proud of. So good evening, Toastmasters. That was my children, Charina and Cherry Lee.
Thank you, Toastmaster Chato, for sharing to us your journey and leap of faith through motherhood and marriage.
The only thing I could always talk about. Thank you.
Thank you. So, who wants to volunteer? Okay. So, may I pass the mic to our our guest, Mr. MJ Dolot. Okay. So, I'll
Go, MJ.
here's a
So thank you, Miss Flo. Thank you, Toastmaster Flo. So for today, our topic will be faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase. So I'm still young and I have much experience, but not that much. So first of all, as I am journeying in my life, right now I'm already 28 years old and I'm still searching for something that I love. So first of something that I love to do. My aunt knows this, that every time that I take on things in my life, I'm always taking each step and I don't even see what the end goal is. But I know that I'm having faith in God and I'm having faith in myself and the people who believe in me. I'm taking the steps further to improve myself. So in my life, I took a step to become a government employee. I also took a step, a leap of faith in taking up of working in a bank. I also took a step in taking up business and working on it. But in my because of this, of my faith, of taking every step, even though I don't know where I'm going to go, is I became an educator, which is a very fulfilling and a very surprising thing for me. I'm very happy that I took this, seeing a child or the children that I hold dear to improve seeing them that they are doing good in their life. Some of them are already doing business of their own at a young age. I've been guiding these children, and I'm very proud of what I'm doing. So we don't see what the staircase holds or what the end goal is, but if we take a step, everything will start and the journey will begin. That's all. Thank you very much.
So for the next one, may I call on Toastmaster Ariel. So here's the quote for you. Sometimes our only available transportation is leap of faith.
Again, please.
Uh, Sometimes our only available transportation is leap of faith.
Okay. With this chato, I will also tell about my marriage. Okay. So this is when we have when I am 25 years old. That was 12 years ago. Oh, sorry, that was 10 years ago. I'm still my salary is still at 20,000 pesos per month, but I have a leap of faith that I can get to with this marriage. And along the way, our savings is not going that far. We have we have many things to pay up, and many suppliers that need to be need to be done. There's the photographers, the dining, and also the wedding dress. And along that way, we came short. We have no money. We have no money, and I took a look of faith that I gave it up our last 12,000 pesos to our pastor. That's a leap of faith that, Lord, you will be our provider. We don't have money anymore, but you can multiply this. And eventually, yes, money came over. My sister gave another 30,000. That is almost 3 times my on what I gave up to the Lord. And eventually the wedding is very successful. Many friends came to the wedding, and also we after the wedding we also have enough money to rent our new home. And that's the story of my wedding and the leap of faith on my finances. Back to you, TM Flo.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ariel. That was a very one of a kind story for the wedding. Um, Imagine telling God, "You will be our provider," and then He provided. So I have a few more here. I would like to invite uh, Toastmaster Toastmaster Carmela. Carmela. So
I will try
I have
myself.
I can
I
time
was
for
so
you.
excited. I'm excited with my timer. See that?
Okay. Oh, wow, wow. Here.
To scare the speakers actually. All right. You will time for me?
Okay, I can.
All right.
Here. So faith is to believe what you do not see. The reward of faith is to see what you believe. by Saint Augustine. Can you see it in the chat box? Faith is to believe what you do not see. The reward of faith is to see what you believe.
Have you gone to some place where you know nothing about? Have you gone to some place where your only security was a leap of faith? So some 2 years ago, I did that. I hopped on a bus and decided that I'm going to this place no matter what because I needed to do what I needed to do. This place is not something that you can just look for in the internet. Even the means of going, I had no idea how I will get there. But I just went on. The funny thing is, I was not even supposed to get on that bus. I was supposed to go on an earlier bus trip, but for some reason, the universe conspired and got me on a later bus trip. And I was telling God, I don't know how to find this person that I need to look for. In fact, I don't know who exactly I'm going to look for. But God answered it right away. This guy who sat beside me in the bus, know that person I'm supposed to look for. So to cut the long story short, I got to that place in Banawe. It's quite an unknown place. And I got to meet the person that I needed to meet. So this person who sat with me on the bus, who was not even supposed to go to that place in Banawe, but he offered to help me. So long story short, I achieved what I wanted to. I got the data that I needed and made some new friends. And that was a leap of faith. Every time I would go to the Cordilleras, it's always a practice of faith because I don't know what to expect. I just visualize what I need to achieve, and there you have it. I got what I believe will happen. Over to you, Toastmaster Flo.
Thank you, Toastmaster Carmela. So your time is exactly 2 minutes. Very good. So thank you for sharing your story of leap of faith, and um, it amazes me what you want to see and you actually see it. Yeah. So here's the last one. May I call on this Toastmaster Grace? Yeah.
Yes, I'm the
So
evaluator.
you
Maybe you can call a
cannot
guest.
call on, sorry.
Call a guest.
Call a guest.
Charina, Graciela.
Oh, Katrina.
Karina.
Hello, Katrina. Katrina, are you there?
Raymark.
Who else?
How about Raymark?
Raymark. Hi, Raymark. Can you unmute your mic? Are you there?
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
Raymark, I'd like you to join us for those for the table topics. I have one quote that I would like you to speak about. So this is very popular. I'll just paste it on the screen. So everyone knows about this. It's a quote from Nike. It said, "Do it."
Well, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Toastmaster. Um, that quote really remind me about the challenges that I have faced during my teenage life. So um, going back to elementary, I was not an achiever. I'm not an honor student from grade 1 to grade 6, but just those experience give me a lesson to work hard so that I could be able to make everyone or the people that surrounds me proud of what I'm doing. So during high school, I I've been a competitive student. I was able to believe in myself that I can do I can also achieve what my classmates have already achieved to to be an honor student, to excel in the class. So I I just study hard and focus on the lessons that the teachers has teaches us every day in school. And after that, during the recognition day, I was able to get an honor, and I was able to bring my parents into the stage and wear me that medal, and being able to achieve my goal and to believe in myself.
Okay, so wow, thank you for that, Raymark. From not having honor to having a medal, that's quite amazing. Okay, so that's it for tonight's table topics. Thank you everyone for everyone that participated. Uh, I really like the topic tonight, and I really appreciate the stories that you shared. So back to Toastmaster Baby Doble. Ah,
Unmute.
you're on mute, Toastmaster.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I congratulate all those who participated, and I'm happy that a lot of our guests participated. Let's give the participants or the table topics participants a round of applause. Now let's move on to the more serious part of the Toastmasters program. We will have our prepared speeches. And I don't have the sorting of our speakers, but our first speaker is a new Toastmaster, and she will deliver her icebreaker speech. My SSS journey, speech project, dynamic leadership, level 1, project 1, icebreaker. Objectives are for the member to introduce herself to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speech. Time allotted is 46 minutes. Title is My SSS Journey. Evaluator is Toastmaster Florence Pua. Let's give a round of applause for our speaker, Emeline Puigsesi.
The journey of 1,000 steps begins with the first step. According to Lao Tzu, a great Chinese philosopher. I remember at 7 years old, I was stage and I couldn't remember my lines. It was my first declamation contest. I just froze and was looking over my mom to tell me what's the next words to say. But that did not stop me from joining more contests, dance and singing contests. Despite the fear, I just went ahead and did what I could. And that was how I started When I graduated from De La Salle University, I first worked at the bank, and an irate customer just made me cry because she was complaining about I was following up on her loans. I said, this is not my dream job. When the opportunity came for me to go to San Francisco to pursue my higher educations, I said, yes, that's my dream, to go to America, the American dream. My oldest brother was there taking up his higher education, and I decided to do whatever it takes to finish my course. My first job was working as a dishwasher at a coffee shop. That was quite tough. Being a De La Salle graduate, I have to humble myself just to wash dishes. But because I had a dream, I knew that this is just temporary. I was able to finish my degree while working at school. And that was the saddest time of my life when my dad died of colon cancer. I wish I could be with him, but I promised myself someday I will make my dad proud of me. I wanted to visit him, but I figured, what's the point? Being the second child, my oldest brother didn't go back to visit him. Being a girl in a Chinese family, we are somehow second-class citizen. So I just told myself someday I want my dad to be proud of me. I worked in the insurance business for 4 years, but after 4 years, I said, enough of this. I think my opportunities are better in the Philippines. So that was it. After 8 years in America, I said, I need to dream the Filipino dream. And that was when I packed my bags and went back to the Philippines. Why? Why are you going back to the Philippines? Because I never felt like America was for me. It was just a stopover. So I had to start all over again, working in the insurance world. And after getting burned out, I went into other types of business. I went into real estate. That's where I met the man of my dreams. I with him because he fell several times on the skating rink, but he just kept getting up and kept smiling. I said, that's the attitude I want, a fight spirit. 1 year and a half later, we were walking down the aisle and getting married. Life wasn't easy. We started different types of businesses, and we got into a water business. Unfortunately, after 5 years, the business closed. I invested quite a sum of money, but for me, I was just grateful to have 2 beautiful girls because of this alkaline water business. Because prior to that, I had 2 miscarriages. So having 2 beautiful girls at my age at that time, I was so grateful. Even if we lost some money, I said, it's okay. If we have the skills, we can always move on. So that was my first S, survival. The second stage was going for success. So after trying so many jobs, businesses, we got into skincare business, we got into real estate. And one day somebody invited me to a wellness business. I said, this time around, I have to check this out. I'm not just gonna get into something that I don't know anything about. We studied it, and it was so exciting. Why? Because it talked about wellness. And for you to become successful, you have to help people. And that's the great thing. You don't need to have a big investment. You just need to be sincerely wanting to help people. You just need to want to help as many people to become successful, and that's the way to succeed. I love the philosophy of the business. 10 years ago, we had the leap of faith. We went to Davao City, even we didn't know anybody. And for the last 9 years, we were able to rise up to the top 10 in the company. We were able to achieve all the trips every year to Hong Kong, Vietnam, Singapore, USA, Malaysia, Thailand. We've been to the US for more than 5 times to visit my whole family in America. I've been so grateful because this is the dream, my dream, to achieve success And the third S is the road to significance. During this pandemic, we lost two of our family members. It was a sad time because my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law just passed away one after the other. And we thought of so many people who needed our help. And we were able to help over 120 frontliners with our Save the Frontliners project. We were able to feed more than 4,000 people with our 1 million meals, feed the children. And we were able to help 25 scholars in our projects. And we were so grateful that we can achieve significance during these trying times. So my SSS journey from survival to success to significance, I just love it. When I think about this, we've moved 18 times, different homes. I've moved 13 jobs. And I'm just so grateful because Jack Ma says, make as many mistakes when you're young. And someday, do what you love. And today we're enjoying our jobs. It's not even a job because it's the more people you help, then you can be very successful. Good evening.
Wow, thank you, Emmeline. Emmeline, I'm just surprised you never mentioned your company. You talked about wellness, but you never mentioned your company. I'm giving you the chance to say it now.
Oh, you can see it at the back. There it is, For Life.
Oh, where?
Collagen.
Where is it?
Oh, wala.
Oh, okay.
Oh, maybe it's in the logo.
Okay. So congratulations, Emmeline. Now you will be evaluated thoroughly after this other speaker. So congratulations, Emmeline. Now we move on to the second speaker, prepared speech. Prepared speech number 2, my journey as a safety officer. Speech project, presentation mastery level 1, project 2, evaluation and feedback. Objectives for the member to present a speech on any any topic, receive feedback and apply the feedback to a second speech. Time allotted is 5 to 7 minutes. My title is My Journey as a Safety Officer. Evaluator is Stephen Ngo, our area director, and the speaker is John Francisco. Let's give John a round of applause.
Do you always practice safety? Are you safety oriented? What do you do in times of disasters and calamities? Do you know how to use the fire extinguishers? I started my career as a safety officer way back in the late 90s. I'm working at National Power Corporation. The trainings are left and right. They offer trainings in safety, but nobody likes it. Our training center is in Bagak, Bataan. They thought you were just resting and having a vacation of your life because most safety trainings are held for a week, 40 hours, sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes 2 to 3 days. So I was always asked by my boss or my manager to attend the safety trainings. So I said yes. Any trainings for me and seminars is very fruitful. I always attend many seminars. If they don't like it, I accept it. Even seminars on meat processing, flour arrangement, I attend it. I always love being in a seminar because you learn and you grow. Then I became a member of the Fire Brigade Committee of our office. I was then the ladder man. We compete in many fire brigade competitions, left and right. usually in the BFP Fire Brigade competitions, the Safety Organization of the Philippines Fire Brigade competitions. I was the ladderman and the co-team captain. So we always win many citations, awards, recognitions, and trophies because we battle with many companies, Firestone, Meralco, many companies, and they are tall and muscular people, men, because in the competition you have to beat the clock, beat the time. It's it has many categories: the up the ladder, the fire extinguishment, the bucket relay, many. We won the championship in the 1998 Centennial competition. So I was very happy then because I said to my team that they will never get back the crown because they had to wait for 100 years. So my journey began when I was transferred to the head office of the National Corporation in 2003. The corporate safety officer resigned and looked for greener pastures. So I became the acting corporate safety officer. Wow, that was such a leap of faith in my career as a safety officer because I had to travel from Basco, Batanes to Tawi-Tawi. Imagine having lectures left and right, investigations, accident investigations, safety audit, safety inspections. I had the time of my life because I had a lot of travel. And I enjoy meeting people, meeting personnel, other NPC personnel. Imagine, safety audit in Marawi City. We had a plant there, the Agus 1 and 2, and I'm surrounded by people from Visayas and Mindanao. I am the only Luzon guy there. I was happy then. We were eating such many delicacies. I'm enjoying the investigation, the audit of the plants of National Power Corporation. Then, in the late 2010 began that I was invited to be a resource speaker. So that started my career as a resource speaker in safety. I'm giving lectures left and right, mostly on fire safety, defensive driving. Well, guys, defensive driving, that's an actual because you have to teach them how to drive the rules of being a good driver. Defensive driving, not offensive driving. And fire safety, you have to teach them how to use the fire extinguisher, the fire hose, and many other things. Lecture for one day, and then the second day, actual. But I'm using the time of this with corporate responsibilities. I add tree planting. So there have been a lot of accidents in National Power Corporation, oil spill accidents. I was involved in oil spills. All the oil spills, the spills of NPC, I was there. So I became friends to the Philippine Coast Guard, the BFP, and meet a lot of other government agencies. And then in the Philippine Society of Mechanical Engineers, 2 years ago, I was invited to be a member of the Safety Engineering and Health Technical Division. And alas, this year, I was elected as chairman of the Safety Engineering and Health Technical Division. Mind you, we just had a national conference and we did great because we had 3 speakers and then I became the speaker in the webinars and enjoying it very much. In the conventions of PSME, I became speaker in SMX. Imagine 4 years as speaker in SMX, enjoying my life as a safety officer and a safety resource speaker. And now as chairman, I'm enjoying my life as a safety officer, and this is the beginning of my journey as a safety officer in National Power Corporation and in other companies. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Back to you.
Congratulations, Mr. Head Safety Officer. Congratulations, John. Now, we have had two prepared speakers, and this is the time of time of reckoning. Let's give a round of applause for our general evaluator, whom I have missed for many years. Let's give a round of applause for our general evaluator, DTM Edith Garde.
Good evening. We now are we? Am I clear enough?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Medyo malikot yung screen. Sorry. All right, so it's great to be back with Supreme, but I am missing so many familiar faces. But of course, there is Baby Doble. But where have all the others gone? Baby.
Some have
So we
retired.
have, I can see.
Some have retired,
Maybe.
like Tess
But
Choi,
yes.
and some have
Yeah,
moved
okay. I think he's
to
based in
provincial
Baguio already.
assignments. Yes.
Okay. Now I'm glad to see there are many new faces, young faces who have taken the place of those who have moved on to other clubs or have gone to other hometowns. And the feeling is, Supreme will always be there because of Baby Doble. And Baby Doble has really steered Supreme to what it has now become, strong, still with a presence in the district. And I hope to see more of you in the coming days. Now, because I realize that there are many newcomers and not many guests, that is a very strong indication that the club is working, inviting guests, inviting people to see the organization that Toastmaster has, what it has to offer in terms of public speaking, communicating effectively, and leadership. And I'm glad that someone or so many of you are very aggressive in inviting guests. And I hope that these guests will choose to sign up as members so that Supreme gets the numbers. The quality of meeting in Supreme is something, but of course, in the district, we always emphasize charter strength. So that will be the challenge. We will always be after how to be charter strength, and so that more will benefit from the quality meetings that you have. Now, the general evaluator, as always, I would say, observes the general proceedings and looks at the evaluators on how they perform their role as evaluators. So the general evaluator evaluates the evaluators, while the evaluators evaluates the role takers and the speakers specifically. Now, we started using the traditional program of, doing the procedure. Sometimes you can also choose to do something more creative or to do some little bit changes to create more excitement. But because there were new attendees, I believe it was really commendable that you stick to the traditional part of the learning so that they will not be confused. No? So the first on my panel to evaluate would be the table topic evaluator. And I would like to call the table topic evaluator is Toastmaster Grace Banal. Can we have Grace Banal, please, for the table topic evaluator.
Yes, DTM Edith, thank you.
Yeah.
So I am the evaluator for tonight's table topics speeches. And I'd like to stress out that table topics is one of the most exciting and at the same time the most daunting part of every Toastmasters meeting, because it's kind of exciting because you'll never know what question you'll get or what quote you'll have to talk about. And at the same time, it's also nerve-wracking because, as Toastmaster Baby mentioned a while ago, public speaking or impromptu speaking is one of the greatest fears that people have. And through this table topics session, we get to have the opportunity to practice our impromptu speaking skills, which is something that we always do almost on a regular basis whenever we are asked questions, whenever we, for example, if we get asked questions during job interviews or even in our business, in our work. So it's very practical. Now, first up is I'd like to give each speaker an evaluation and also my recommendation. So first up is Toastmaster Chato. So I'd like to commend Toastmaster Chato because she was very eager in in participating in table topics, because most of the time, often, a lot of people would dread going up to this challenge. So good job on that, Toastmaster Chato. And I loved that you started with a story, because I remember the last time that you joined Toastmaster Chato with the table topics, you were very nervous and you said that you felt like your blood pressure went up. But tonight, during your table topic speech, it feels that you're very comfortable. It's because you are talking a story that is very familiar with you. So fellow Toastmasters, if you're someone who seems to be always nervous about speaking, it can be good that you talk about something that you are very familiar about. So that's what Toastmaster Chato did. So well done on that. Now, some points for your improvement, Toastmaster Chato, that you might want to consider is to look straight into the camera, because it makes the message more effective. It makes the conversation more effective. So when you look into the camera, that little dot over there, it is the equivalent of looking people straight into the eye. So that's very important. That's one good way of establishing connection with the audience. And also, Toastmaster Chato, since you started with a message, I recommend that you follow the story. You started with a story. I recommend that you follow the story with a message. What did you learn from that story? And perhaps end it with the gain or the benefit or the call to action. What can we as the audience can also learn from your story? Toastmaster Chato, I had a great time. I actually felt good listening and watching you speak because of that smile on your face. So when you smile, it's kind of contagious that I feel at ease listening to your story as well. So congratulations, Toastmaster Chato. Next up is our guest, future Toastmaster MJ. Future Toastmaster MJ, this is your first time participating in a table topics, in an impromptu speaking speech at that. In a way, you already look confident. I loved it that you were smiling, you were looking into the camera. It's as if you're very comfortable speaking. So that's a good skill that I want you to maintain. I want you to keep that up. And also, you showed the skill wherein you don't just tell a story or a statement, but you also support that statement with example. You started with a story and then you followed with you started with a statement and then gave an example. For example, the steps you took to that challenge you, that correlates to your leap of faith. Now, Toastmaster MJ, whenever we speak, there are three main parts of a speech. One is the introduction. So you nailed the body part, wherein we learned a lot from you about your challenges, about your story of leap of faith. what I can recommend Toastmaster MJ is to start with a bang. So you can start with a quote, you can mention the quote as if it's your own, you can ask a question, or you started a bang to catch the attention of your audience. Because it's very important that the first few seconds of our speech is something that would hook your audience so that they will listen to you. Because no matter how beautiful your message is, if you weren't able to get the attention of your audience, your message might fall on deaf ears. And also, part of a speech is also a great ending. Now, one way that we can end our speech is by asking the people, giving the people a call to action. What do we need to do? So what is the lesson, or what is your core message, and what can we do about it? All right? So thank you, Toastmaster MJ, for that story you shared. And I loved it when you ended your speech with a message where you said that take the step. That's a very powerful ending, to take the step, because one way of what it's important is to take that first step. And with that, you ended well. You had a strong body, and you also had a strong ending. All we need to add is a gain, or the benefit that we can take from your message. So well done, Toastmaster MJ. And next up is Toastmaster Ariel. And just like you have improved, Ariel, because you are showing more of comfort level, where you share the story about your journey into your plan, from preparation of your wedding up to the wedding and then after. So in a way, you use the past, the present, and a little bit of the future. So well done on that. And also, what I loved about you, Toastmaster Ariel, is that your face conveyed emotion. I can feel the discomfort. I can feel the frustration when you're talking about you only had a few thousand pesos left in your as a cash or in your bank account, and you didn't know how to stretch those remaining 12,000 pesos, I think. And I can sense that emotion or feeling of failure. But also, when you're talking about the success, your face lightened up. So that's a good way of telling a story. We don't just tell stories based on our voice, but we also tell stories using our languages, using our facial expressions. So you were very effective on that. Now, Toastmaster Ariel, some points of improvement for you to consider is, one, to look, just like Toastmaster Chato, to look also straight into the camera. I know it's a bit tricky. It's a bit difficult looking straight into camera when we have to look into the screen to see the audience. But since we are in the virtual world, it's very important that we feel connected with our audience. And also, it's very important that our audience feels connected to us. So one way is to look into the camera. And second is also to end your speech with a gain, with a call to action. What did you learn? So that's your message. And then what can we do with it? What are the tips that you can give us? What are the things that we can do so that we can apply that lesson that you have learned with your story? So overall, Toastmaster Ariel, your message was strong. You said you related your story, with your wedding story, with the theme, which is the leap of faith. All right, so that's a good way, that which give us a strong or focused message. So congratulations, Toastmaster Ariel. And our speaker number 4 is Toastmaster Carmela. You started with a bang because you immediately asked a question. And that is a sign of a professional speaker, is to get the attention of the audience. And you nailed that one right. And also, your story was very vivid. I can imagine you hopping into the bus. I can imagine you feeling lost. And it's like I am being transported into where you are in your story, which is a sign that you are an effective storyteller. Now, Toastmaster Carmela, some points that I can recommend for you to improve on is also the message. You were very vivid with the story, but I loved it if you are also vivid with the message, with what is the lesson that you learned from that story. I would have loved it if you made it clear to us. And also, how can we apply that lesson that you've learned into our lives as your audience? So those are my recommendations for you. Toastmaster Carmela, when you are giving your story, it felt like you are speaking to me in person. I can feel, I can sense it in your voice, in the way you speak. Sometimes you talk fast, but you also sometimes you talk slowly, which gives your speech a variety in terms of speed, in terms of your voice, which is made your speech or made your story more effective. So congratulations, Toastmaster Carmela. And lastly, for our guest, Raymark, are you there? Hello, Raymark.
Yes, Mama.
All right. So first up is congratulations and well done for taking the challenge in answering the table, one of the dreaded portion of the Toastmaster, every Toastmaster meeting. It's kind of uncomfortable for some members, but more so for guests, but you took the courage. So well done on that. And I loved it that you also started with a story, a very relatable story, or your experience when you were in high school, how you tried to excel during your high school. So that's a very relatable story. And some points for you to improve that you might want to consider, Toastmaster Raymark, when it comes to delivering a speech is one, is if you plan or if you intend on sharing a story, I suggest that you jump on straight to the story, because the soon avoid unnecessary introduction and just go straight to the story, because that story is a good enough introduction. One moment. Starting with the story is a good enough introduction. And also, Toastmaster Raymark, you had a body, your speech had a body wherein you shared the story. What I can recommend is to end it with a bang as well. What is the message? What is the lesson, or what is that word or a lesson that you want to impart that you have learned from that story? And also, just like my suggestion with others, also end it with a call to action. What do you want us to do? Because the call to action signifies leadership. Because people do not just tell stories. Stories also move us into action. So that's what leaders do. We share stories, and then we also use those stories to move people into action. So overall, Toastmaster, or future Toastmaster Raymark, you were very brave, and I hope that you continue sharing stories and incorporating stories into your speeches. And I hope that you remember these lessons, because these are important skills that you will have to learn, so that when you graduate and when you attend job interviews, or perhaps is invited to speak in front of fellow professionals, this is one good skill that you might want to bank on. So thank you and congratulations, Toastmaster Raymark. And lastly, I'd like to give a few evaluations as well to our Toast Table Topics Master for tonight, Toastmaster Flo. And Toastmaster Flo, this is your second stint as the Table Topics Master, and I could say that you are more comfortable now. You had more energy in you compared to the last time that you headed or you led the Table Topics section. So congratulations on that. Now, what I can suggest as rooms for improvement for your future stint as a Table Topics Master is to make it clear what is the essence of table topics. So perhaps you can share how we can apply these impromptu speaking skills in our daily lives. And also, you explain what table topics is about and are the practical applications of it. But overall, Toastmaster Flo, you had perfect transitions in between. And also, you were very simple in terms of your transitional statement. No unnecessary comments or unnecessary zoos that could take a lot of time. So well done, Toastmaster Flo, and you are improving a lot, Toastmaster Florence. So congratulations and job well done to Flo and to the rest of the table topic speakers. Now back to you, DTM Edith.
Okay, thank you for the very comprehensive tabletop evaluation. I would reserve my comments and recommendations after I have done with the evaluation of the speakers. May I please call the first evaluator for the first speaker, Toastmaster okay, so the evaluator of speaker Emeline, Toastmaster Florence. Can you please now give your evaluation?
Good evening, everyone. So,
Yes, good evening.
So for tonight, I will be evaluating the speech of Toastmaster Emmeline. So I liked how Miss Emmeline introduced herself. This was a very compelling story. It had very many transition in between. So at first, I was trying to look for the main parts. Supposedly there was 3, but I was trying to follow it, and I was like, wow, there's a lot of transition in between. So later on, she later defined it that she had 3 big parts for this, from survival, success, and significance. I liked how she I loved how she segmented these into parts. So our speaker showed a good command of the English language. She also showed her strength in storytelling. So while there were so many things that she included in her story, I never felt lost in her story. What I would like her to improve on is noticed that there was very little, if none, hand gestures. I would like to invite Miss Emmeline. Maybe she could add a little more hand gesture so that it could help her and her audience to remember the story more. Although for me, I saw the story she was telling. She had a lot she had a lot of emotions, and her emotions were sincere. Uh, the hand gestures would further enhance this. And lastly, in the ending, I noticed that her pacing was a little rushed. Uh, so it was towards the part of significance. I would have loved it more if she conveyed it in a slower pace, since it's the significance part, trying to towards that time where she was relaying to us the food that they have donated as part of COVID, and also towards the death of certain family members. Her pacing was a little bit rushed there. So if she can improve this, it would have been even more. Her speech would have been even better. But overall, it was a very good speech. again, her story was very good. Um, Hand gestures will only enhance the very good. I forgot to mention she also made very good eye contact, but hand gestures will only enhance this. And also the pacing, maybe it was due to time, or maybe it was due to lack of practice. But the pacing was a little fast at the end. Okay, that's all.
Okay, thank you, evaluator Florence. Now let's proceed to the evaluator of the second speaker. We'd like to call our area director, Stephen Ngo, for the evaluation of the speech of the second speaker, who was my journey as a safety officer. Can we now call the evaluator, please? Stephen?
Thank you, DTM Edit Garde. And have you ever wondered what it's like to be a safety officer? Or do you think that the only job of a safety officer is just supervising and checking the sites if they follow the safety protocols? We know that these questions have been answered by our fellow safety officer, Toastmaster John Francisco. So good evening, Toastmaster John, and thank you and congratulations for sharing with us your story about your journey as a safety officer. It has helped us be enlightened on what it's like to be a safety officer. And maybe some of our fellow Toastmasters, especially the young ones, may want to be a safety officer as well. Because of the travels from the Batanes to Tawi-Tawi. So congratulations once again, Toastmaster John. And I like that you started your speech with a question, because starting your speech with a question is one of the best ways for you to get the attention of your audience. And also what I like about your speech is that your story is your message. It is one of the unique speeches I have heard ever since, because usually the story is an introduction for many, but yours, your story is your message. And by doing that, it has helped us want to listen more about your speech, because I know many of us wants to hear a story, especially a personal story of other people. And also what I like that you have shared as well your successes and the challenges you face as a safety officer. So thank you, Toastmaster John, for that. So what I would suggest for you to do next time, since this is your objective is to receive and apply feedback. So what I want you to apply next time is to summarize your story by focusing more on the highlights of your journey. Maybe one of the most memorable, your challenges, and your successes. So that will help us know more about your journey as a safety officer. And also, I noticed that your question is, do you know how to use, one of your questions is, do you know how to use a fire extinguisher? Be sure that your question will be answered in your message. So one example of question that you could ask rather than about the fire extinguisher is, have you ever, like what I asked a while ago, have you ever wondered what it's like to be a safety officer? So because with that question, I know that you will be able to answer it with your story. And also, another point that I want you to do next time is to end your speech with a game or a take home or a call to action. So what have you learned of being a safety officer? And what you can encourage your audience from being a safety officer? Maybe you can encourage your audience to become one. But overall, I like your story. great, well-paced story that you're able to share your successes and challenges. And what I also what suggest next time is to prepare well ahead of time as well, because I noticed that your pacing is a little slow and not too spontaneous. So be sure to prepare well ahead of time and share your speech more often in front of a mirror or wherever you are. And I believe with that, you will be able to deliver your next speech with greater effectiveness. And congratulations with that, Toastmaster John. And I'm looking forward for you to, deliver this speech again. Good evening.
Okay, thank you. Before we go to the technical evaluations like time and grammar, I will now focus on the evaluators of the speakers. The first evaluator that we have evaluated the table topics. This was done by table topic evaluator. Wait, was it Florence? No. Table
It's
topic
me,
evaluator
BPM Edit.
was.
It's me, Grace.
Oh, sorry, Grace Banal, of course. Okay, table topic. You know, the table topic evaluation is practically the most challenging evaluation in the whole of the meeting, because you don't only have one or two speakers to evaluate, you have to listen to each one. If you have four speakers, then you have to come up with four different evaluations. If you have five, that's even more challenging. Now, Grace, the table topics evaluation is also a mini speech. The table topic is also a mini speech. So we approach the evaluation like we would do a regular speech. Now, perhaps because you had more than one, you had four or five speakers, in the interest of time, so that you will not always be repeating speaker number one had a very strong opening, and you would say it again in speaker number two, number three. The thing to do to be very effective is to mention the common strength. Where did the six speakers fare very well? What were the common strengths of the five or four speakers? Perhaps you could say that all our speakers, all five of them created a very interesting opening that already caught our immediate attention. So speaker number one had a very interesting opening, number two had a very strong opening, number three, four, and five. Then you could also, so what were they good at as a group? What were they effective at as a group? They had strong opening, they were able to follow up the introduction, because these table topics, you only have 2 minutes, they were able to follow up with one major idea that was supported by a minor idea, and they were able to clinch or to summarize the major idea and the minor idea by giving a very compelling ending statement that was concluded by a message and a call to action. So there you have it, your five speakers with very strong arresting opening that caught your attention, who developed the body of the topic in such a way that they were able to elaborate and illustrate the quotation, and were able to close it by giving a very equally credible closing statement by giving you a message. The message is very important, because after listening to you for 2 minutes, so what's in it for me? So you give it back to the audience. Now, where did the speakers differ from one another? What was distinguished or distinctive of the table topic development of Florence, of, for example, what was the distinctive or the very differentiating point of MJ's development of the topic leap of faith? How did Ariel differ from the rest of the group in the development of the body? And how did our very brave guest also manage to cope with the challenge of being able to be comfortable in developing the body? So when you evaluate the table topics, give the common strength, and then give the areas. Please never use the word improve, okay? We are all adults here. You don't improve on anything, but we work on. You don't say, I'd like you to improve on your hand gestures. No, you do not improve on your hand gestures. Perhaps you would say, if I may recommend, you could be more effective or more eloquent with your hand gestures. But don't say, I want you to improve. No, no, no. You do not ask somebody to improve. You are all equals here. Not because you're an evaluator, you place yourself in a higher position. I want you to improve. No, you're not a teacher telling that a kindergarten. We're all professionals here, and we are not here to improve, but we are here to master our craft. We are here to enhance the language competency that Toastmaster offers. Okay, please, no use of the word improve. I want you to improve your hand gestures. I want you to improve on your vocabulary. Perhaps you can say, I want you to work on your vocabulary by choosing the proper words that would give us the message, the what do you call it, the visual, the image that you would like us. So please, lesson for tonight, please avoid using the word improve. Okay, needs improvement is only in the card for graders, but now they don't do that anymore, right? Because if you say if you're a teacher and you tell the parent, your child needs to be improved. You know, if I were the mother, and what about you? I think you need to improve your teaching skills also. See, it's not very complimentary. Perhaps we work on or we learn to master. We are Toastmasters. We, work on our word usage. We are Toastmasters, and our weapon and our most valuable asset will be our choice of words. Okay, lesson for tonight. Let's not hear the word improve anymore. Now, the next also, now how did, for example, chat, okay, now you can now say how did chat was able to develop the leap of faith. Remember, in table topics, you zoom in on the content. You focus on the content. You do not say eye contact. We don't need eye contact in table topics anymore because we zoom on the content. The other speech projects, if you notice, will take care of the other competencies. But in table topics, the meat is content. How were you able to illustrate? How were you able to develop the topic? Was your example responsive to the quotation? Was your example made it easier for us to understand the topic? Was your explanation effective because we were able to immediately see the meaning and the significance of the topic? Okay, so never mind the eye contact, the hand gestures, never mind the stage. Anyway, we don't have a stage, but focus on the content. Never mind if we just not look at the camera. After all, we're all looking at him. We would listen. In table topic, it's listening to what he is saying. It is not seeing what he is doing. See, it's listening. Was the topic very, concretely developed? Was it a metamorphosis of the development of the topic? That is the more important thing as a table topic evaluator. Go to the content, go to the content. Now, how did, for example, okay, Emmeline was able to use her marriage as an example. I know that's for the table topic. The speaker, number one, was able to tell us how marriage was like. And then MJ's leap of faith was his whole life. He didn't know where on how to go about it. And then you say Ariel's leap of faith was, for example, the lack of resources that all of us would go at once in life. You see, go to what touched you most. See, that is for the table topics, okay? And then you make a summary now. So common strength. I don't say common weakness. We don't even use that. The areas they have to work on, and then how they develop the topic. In table topics, it's develop. That's why topics say table topics. How did you develop the topics? It's not, for example, speech project number 4, your body speaks. Oh, your body speaks. That's the old program. I don't know which pathways if they have that, no? But what I'm trying to say now is you go by the objectives. After all, table topics has only 2 objectives, and it is universal that you are able to develop the topic and you're able to speak before a crowd. See, you're able to speak before a group and you're able to develop the topic by giving an example or a lesson. That's it. Very simple. In 2 minutes. No more, no more. I like your eyes. No, no, don't like his eyes. I like your hand gestures. I like the way you walk about the stage. Stop loving. You know the word, I love it. I love it. This is not American Idol. Okay, this is Table Topics Toastmasters International. Stop using the word, I love it. I love it. You don't love anything. As an evaluator, you look at it objectively based on objectives. You cannot be subjective. Remember, evaluation is to give value to a speaker's performance. You are not, I was hoping to hear. Why? Why are you hoping to hear? It's my speech. I want to say this. And if you don't want it, and if you don't hear what you want to hear, then develop your own speech. You don't say that, I was hoping to hear. I want, but you. Why would you want? Perhaps you would say, you know, you can be more dramatic when you utilize the stage. You can hold us all into the palm of your hands if you have these, and these. But please never say, I love it, and I want you. That's very demanding. Take the speaker from where he is. Take the speaker from where he is coming from. And from there, give your evaluation. Okay? Okay, so, and then what patterns? Okay, you can have as many patterns. But for tonight, you can say, as a table topic master, I would encourage you to use the story message game, see, which was also very competently addressed by the different speakers. They're all telling a story. And in fact, the story message game is the easiest pattern. Is the easiest pattern, okay? So that's enough for table topics. I don't want to dwell too much on it anymore. But the other speakers, especially the guests, you know, as a rule of thumb, you don't call the guest to participate unless the guest maybe want to volunteer. Why? Because we don't want to compromise his confidence. He may not be very confident yet, you know. So but unless of course he was brave enough and he wanted it. But as a rule of thumb, unless of course we can say, may we have guest comments at the end or towards the meeting. May we have guest comments. But in table topics, don't put them on the spot. We don't want to compromise their integrity. Okay. But that's okay because our guest was very brave and he was able to rise up to the occasion. Now, so much so for table topics. Okay. So table topics also, what else? So use one pattern, focus on one pattern so that it will be easier to evaluate. And then because you only have 2 minutes, give one example only. And then from that example, give the message. Okay, you don't say that's all or say thank you, but then give a message. Now, we go to the prepared speakers. I'd like to call, this one is more of, what you would call objective really, because the speech you develop are based on objectives. So the first speaker was Emmeline, and she would be evaluated by Toastmaster Florence. May we now call Toastmaster Florence for the evaluation of Emmeline's speech. Toastmaster Florence.
Hi, I'm here. Toastmaster Eddie.
Okay. Okay.
She already delivered it, DTM edit.
The what do you call this? The evaluation.
Yeah,
Yes,
because
the
it was
evaluation of Miss Emily.
she was the
To the
evaluator, and
prepared
then
speaker.
Stephen.
Okay, so you already evaluated Emily's speech. Yes.
Yes,
For the prepared speakers.
yes.
How did that happen?
You called her a while ago, DTM Edith. You
And
called
then Stephen was the one who evaluated
John.
John.
Yeah, I know. Done. Oh, okay, then let's go to Stephen for the evaluation of speaker John. Stephen.
He finished already.
Yes, I already evaluated Toastmaster
Oh,
John.
sorry. Yeah, I got it. I'm now going to evaluate. Sorry. I'm now going to evaluate you as you evaluated the speaker, right? Okay. Now, Florence, you evaluated Emily, and she had a very strong title. In fact, she used the triad, right? My
F.
SSS journey is a triad: survival, success, and significance. But a triad, three words in short succession that are meaningfully related. Florence, you were able to give us how, and let me clarify this. Emily, was your speech an icebreaker? It was, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's an icebreaker.
It
It's
was an
my first.
icebreaker. Okay. Now, an icebreaker is 4 to 6 minutes, right? Now, the icebreaker actually, in terms of evaluation, is more of encouragement because the speaker or the toastmaster is just breaking the ice. So he or she was introducing herself to the group, no? So the evaluation would come in such a way that it would focus on how effective the icebreaker speaker was, not really in developing the topic, but in how she was able to let us discover about her in the way we never knew. Okay, when you were attending meetings before, when you were having physical meetings, and you were not yet giving your icebreaker, they just knew you as to be a new member, a guest, or hi, hello. But when you begin your icebreaker, there are many interesting details that will reveal so much of you, some intimate details, and that we begin to appreciate and understand. And we even say, that's why. Oh, no wonder. See, those are the discovery moments. Now, as an icebreaker, Emmeline, your speech is can be considered an advanced speech. I mean, if I were, no, because imagine you were using words, big words, compelling words like success, survival, and significance. These are not easy words. I mean, these are not commonplace, ordinary words that the evaluator could highlight. And then what I like it also when Florence was able to link her evaluation, no, was able to link her evaluation from one segment. She used the word segment, and it was very, very appropriate. It was exact. She said I like the way you segmented. So that means you were able to not really divide, but you were able to place it in not cluster, but you were able to partition it. It became clear, and Florence was quick on that. Because of the segmentation, we were able to follow through your life. And what I really appreciate in your speech is that it had the talent and the competency of more than an icebreaker. It was like an advanced speaker by your choice of words and by the way you gave the examples of what it means to struggle, what that struggle meant for success, and you went several notches higher when you said you opted for significance. That is the most significant part of the speech. Significance. If your words do not have any significance, it has no value, it has no meaning. And Florence was able to capture all those three words in the what you would call in the weaving of your speech. Okay, so survival, success, significance is a triad, and very rare for an icebreaker to have a triad. A triad is a very powerful, eloquent tool for effective communication, and you were able to do just that. So, on that point, I would really like to congratulate you, Toastmaster Emily. And your evaluator was able to pinpoint that too. So, thank you very much, evaluator Florence. Congratulations also, Florence, for
Yay!
bringing out the highlights of her speech.
Ang galing!
Before yeah, kasi before, what's an icebreaker? My name is, I was born on, I went to school in, I finished from the university. That was how they did icebreakers. It was just like a curriculum vitae, a resume. My philosophy in life is, I am now connected with, I am married, my children are. That is how they develop icebreakers, Steve. And it was, so elementary. But now, we have grown several notches higher, and we say that an icebreaker is introducing your life as it is happening before the audience. And I love this. I think the most memorable icebreaker speech I've ever heard
Wow.
in my years of Toastmasters.
Wow!
Okay?
Wow! Recruit ko yan, ha?
I will
Recruit
never
ko
forget.
yan.
I will never forget this. Survival, success, and significance. I will post it on Facebook, and then my journey. And then the second speaker, did you talk? Because the, the speech of
Journey.
Emily was my SSS journey. And then John's speech is my journey as a
Yeah,
safety
most
officer.
journey.
So from Emily's personal journey, John was able to use it also in his journey as an safety officer. And now, how did Stephen evaluate that? No, Stephen did not immediately start. Will evaluate you, please. He said, do you know what a safety officer is? Do you know what they do aside from keeping you safe? He was already throwing questions to the audience. And when he was throwing those questions, we were already mentally engaged. We were already thinking along with him. And then he linked it. Very good linkages tonight. After asking those questions, Stephen was able to link it. And so he said, John has shown us that this is what it takes to be a safety officer. It's not just keeping you safe, like crossing the street or raising the red flag, but it is more than that. It's the industry safety nets that we have. And Stephen was able to delineate that. Stephen, of course, Stephen's an area director. I expect more from him, no? No, but he did very well by giving details. He was very rich in details. When I said details, he was able to specify the parts of the speech. This is the only time I'm taking down notes. Was that what do you call this? John's content was very extensive also, and I had to follow it up by taking down notes. And Stephen was able to provoke us by asking those questions, and Stephen was able to link that safety net to the rest of the speech of John. No, so aside from that, Stephen was also able to give the message that in being safe, it's not just a matter of thinking of yourself personally, but of the people that you are under your charge to keep them safe. So the evaluation of Stephen was able to focus on how uh, John was able to develop the topic as a safety officer and how it was able to give us more insight. I think tonight's speeches were very valuable in terms of content. and in terms of the objectification of the speech. So thank you very much, Stephen, and thank you very much, John, for those evaluation and speech. Now let's give all of our speakers, two speakers, and evaluators a round of applause.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you very much, and I have to leave. Thank you very much.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Thank you for joining us tonight. Now,
Congrats, John.
hope to see you in some meetings, as stated. Now let's go to did somebody work on grammar
I caught some.
or language?
I caught some.
Okay, can you give some of the at least the words that or phrases that were you can consider gems?
May I know who?
I know baby's very good in catching germs, but did you catch gems tonight?
Yes, I caught some. But I don't know who the grammarian is. Grace was the
Okay.
grammarian.
It's okay. It's okay.
Ariel. It's Ariel. We have a grammarian.
Mm-hmm.
I have few.
Okay, anybody?
This is, sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. This is between all, when you say oldest versus eldest. Okay. You use eldest when you talk about the seniority in like in siblings. You say eldest, not my eldest brother, not oldest brother. Compared to when you say they have the same root word old, but eldest is properly used in the
Description.
seniority. Oldest within
Okay, thank you.
oldest things, like oldest sword, oldest camera, like that. And also I have where am I going to go? So instead of putting to go in the last of the phrase, we can say where am I going? And that's for me. Does anybody have gems and germs?
I took note of some. DTM. Are you done, Ariel?
Yes, Miss Lee.
Okay. DTM Edith, can I give mine?
I mean, a leap of faith is a gem, no? Leap of faith is a gem.
Yes, that's the thing. Can I give my grammarian some that I got, some germs?
Sure. Go ahead.
Somebody said camaraderie is better said as camaraderie. Somebody also said share us is better said share to us. I also heard somebody say cope up with. I'd rather say it as cope with. I also heard somebody say the wedding is very successful. In the past tense, it should be the wedding was very successful. And then those experience, the teachers I think is better said, the experiences that the teachers taught. And then I heard somebody say, get an honor. I'd rather say it as to graduate with honors. I also heard somebody say, to miscarriage is better said, to miscarriages. You are looking people straight in the eye. I'd rather say looking at people straight in the eye. And then I heard somebody say move people into action. I'd rather say move people to action.
Okay, thank you. It was very, as usual, you know, those not a baby dobbers has a clinical ear for grammar. Okay, so thank you for that. And now let's go to how well did we manage our time. I think Carmela is ready. Toastmaster Carmela is ready with your timer's report.
Thank you, Toastmaster Edith. So, as skilled
Yeah.
Toastmaster effectively expresses his or her thoughts concisely. And as Toastmasters, we manage our speaking time. So, well, our speakers and evaluators manage their time tonight. So, here's the timers report. The table topic speakers. The first speaker is Toastmaster Chat. So the maximum time for the Toastmaster the table topics speeches is 2 minutes. Ms. Chato completed her speech in 1 minute and 26 seconds. Future Toastmaster Jay completed his table topic speech in 2 minutes 8 seconds. Are you complete in 2 minutes 30 seconds? I finished at exactly 2 minutes, and future Toastmaster Remark, you finish at 2 minutes, and I'm sorry, this was more than 2 minutes. I failed to replay the. For the prepared speeches, first speaker was Toastmaster Emmeline. Toastmaster Emmeline was overtime by 1 minute and 5 seconds. She finished 7 minutes and 5 seconds. For Toastmaster John, he managed to complete his speech within the allotted 7 minutes. He completed 6 minutes in 6 minutes and 53 seconds. For the evaluator of the table topics, so President Grace gave a comprehensive evaluation. She managed to complete her complete evaluation in 15 seconds and 15 minutes and 12 seconds. For the evaluation of prepared speeches, Toastmaster Flo, you completed your evaluation in 4 minutes and 18 seconds. So that's overtime of more than 1 minute. Same goes to Toastmaster Stephen. You completed your evaluation in 4 minutes and 23 seconds. So also overtime by more than 1 minute. So Toastmasters and guests, we do not have all the time in the world. So we need to manage our time wisely and to be conscious of our time as well. Over to you, Toastmaster Edith.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Now, we do not evaluate the educational talk. But tonight we are really privileged to have Toastmaster Baby Double give us an educational talk. Although educational talks are not evaluated, they are appreciated for the learning value that they give to the Toastmasters. And we would like to thank Toastmaster Baby for that educational talk. Now, the Toastmaster of the evening was also competently handled by Toastmaster Baby. In fact, he had to do a dual role of, I know, that is an impromptu, right? It's
Yes.
very challenging to have an impromptu Toastmaster of the evening because normally, if you are the Toastmaster of the evening, you would like to prepare more or less a script on how to link one part to the other or how to navigate one part of the program to the other, especially when you want to know what the theme is. So you would like to have a short introduction, and then you would like to know who the speakers are. You'd like to study the program. But being an impromptu um, Toastmaster of the evening is really very challenging. And then you still have another role, that of being table topic master. So our hero for the night is Toastmaster Baby Doble for being very, very accommodating, very cooperative, and as usual, very committed. So thank you so much, Toastmaster Baby
Thank
Doble.
you.
And as I said, that Supreme is not, I'm not on unfamiliar grounds. I always feel at home with Supreme, although most of the members I meet on a first time basis. Still, the family Supreme has always been close to me. So thank you so much for inviting me here. Who was the one who invited me? Was it who
It
invited
was
me?
me. It
Was
was
it
me, DTM Edith.
It was Grace.
yeah, Grace, because I think Grace Did you watch Tamaraw? Did you attend Tamaraw, Grace?
Yes, DTM Edith. I was there twice.
Yeah, okay. Oh, you were there twice. So the Zoom meeting really is something challenging to me also because I'm a very physical person. I like meeting people face to face. I like interacting with them. It's very difficult really to even evaluate when you don't even see the person really, the reaction and all that. It's even more challenging to praise and tell him that you were great and then you don't get even to see the face. That's why these Zoom meetings are really, well, we call it the new normal, but it's really challenging for us. But then we don't have nothing, we cannot do anything but to adapt and to grow with it. So, Supreme, thank you so much again. And perhaps we can have more times together because I would like to really give more
Yes, please
not
come.
lessons. I would like to on evaluation. I would really like to have more sharings on evaluation
Okay.
because that is the meat of every Toastmasters meeting, the evaluation. It is actually where you learn when they give you evaluation. When they because it comes from the word value, evaluation. They give value for what you do. So this is where we should really develop our skills, our competency on giving value to other speakers, to the roles. That's it, I think. Thank you so much for tonight. I think I have more to do for Supreme.
Can I say something?
So
Yes.
I'd like to
yes,
let you
yes.
know that DTM Edith is a ghost writer of many generals.
Ghost
Wow.
rider. Hindi na
Sorry,
ako.
binuking na kita.
Identified
And
na ako.
many
Identified na ako.
other big persons. Thank you so
Wow.
much, Edith.
Woohoo. Thank you.
Yeah.
I miss you. Come more often,
Okay. So I now return control of the proceedings to the Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you so much. Woohoo.
Thank you, Edith.
Yeah.
So for the conclusion of our program, I'd like to give the returns of the I'd like to return the proceedings to our president, Toastmaster Grace Banal.
Thank you, Toastmaster Baby. And also, thank you so much, DTM Edith Gardy, for that
Yes,
very
yay.
valuable
Round of applause.
evaluations. We really learned
Thank
a
you.
lot.
Thank you.
We've learned a lot of things that we don't usually get from other evaluations. And with that, DTM Edith, you said that Toastmaster Emeline is a speech was very memorable. Your evaluations also, DTM Edith, were very memorable to us. So thank you
Yes.
for taking the time to visit us and give us your valuable evaluations, DTM Edith. All right. Now, as we proceed, I would like to invite our guests to give us their thoughts, to share their thoughts, how they felt during the meeting. So I'd like to invite our three remaining guests. I'd like first to start with Toastmaster MJ. I'd like to ask your thoughts or your feedback about our meeting for tonight. Oh, he left.
Left. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's okay. Now I'd like to invite then Raymark, Sir Raymark, to give us his thoughts or perhaps feedback about our meeting for tonight. Raymark.
Hello, Mom. Hello, everyone. So,
Hello.
first of all, I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. It was an amazing experience, and I've learned a lot from all of you guys, and thank you be, for welcoming us and for also teaching us new stuff about public speaking and leadership. So that's all.
Thank you, Raymark.
Thank you,
Now
Raymark.
I'd like to call Katrina. Are you still there? Can you give us your thoughts, your comments, or feedback about our meeting here? How was your experience joining us tonight?
Oh, I'm really glad that I attended this meeting because I really wanted to work on my public speaking skills. And because of this opportunity, I was able to learn tips on how to speak well and express my thoughts. That's all. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Katrina and Raymart. So, just like what you have witnessed, this is how we, like what I posted in my page, this is how I practice. So we deliver speeches, we participate in table topics, we do the roles of we take on different roles, and also we get evaluated. We were given feedback and suggestions so that we can become better leaders, better speakers, and better communicators. So we are not just evaluated based on our weaknesses, what we did wrong, but more often we are also evaluated based on mostly of our strengths, so that these strengths can be reinforced in us. So that's how it goes in the usual Toastmasters meeting, and I hope that you found also value in joining us tonight, and hope to see you again in our future meetings. So let's give our brave guests a warm round of applause. All right. Now I'd like to proceed to yes, our next some announcements. Our next meeting is on November 17. So we have another general evaluator that I have invited again from Tamarao. I have maintained somehow close ties with our neighbor. Tamarao also meets a Tamarao Toastmasters Club. The first Toastmasters Club in all of Asia also meets in Club Filipino. So they're essentially our neighbors. So I invited again someone from Tamarao Toastmasters Club to be our general evaluator next meeting. So stay tuned who that is. All right. So with that, I think we have covered everything. Any more announcement from our VP Ed, Toastmaster Baby?
So our Toastmaster of the evening next meeting will be Glo.
Yeah, we can have
Glo or
Glo
Chato.
to be our Toastmaster of the evening next meeting.
Let's adjourn first, Grace.
All right. So we are now, it's already 9:30, so we really have to adjourn our meeting.
Yes.
So by the power vested in me by Toastmasters International and by my home club, Supreme Toastmasters Club, this meeting is now adjourned.
Yay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Good
you, Edith. Love you, love
night.
you.